Today's episode is sponsored by Arvato. Visit them at arvato.com.
Aerospace and defense manufacturing.
Machines and automation.
Additive manufacturing.
Smart manufacturing.
Global manufacturing economy.
Welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals, powered by SME. From the design screen to the shop floor to final assembly, we drive the conversation about making manufacturing smarter by connecting people who are passionate about manufacturing.
Hello, and welcome to Advanced Manufacturing Now, the podcast for manufacturing professionals. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast feed to stay up to date on all things manufacturing. I am your host, Lawrence Mobes, and today we are joined by Gerrit Stuchti. Gerrit Stuchti is the Customer Experience Director of Arvato Systems in North America. In his role, he leads the customer experience and strategy practice, assisting clients in the consumer products and manufacturing industry to develop state-of-the-art CX solutions. His experience lies in designing solutions around leading providers of CX products such as Microsoft, Salesforce, or SAP, integrating them with best-of-breed or customer solutions. Prior to this role, Gerrit spent several years as a senior consultant at Arvato Systems in Germany, where he gained valuable experience in implementing systems for various manufacturing clients. His project work involved deploying solutions that optimized inventory management, streamlined service processing, and enhanced customer engagement across various channels. Welcome, Mr. Stuchti.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Lawrence.
All right, we're going to talk today about service, etc., and all the other issues that are facing the industry. But what are the challenges specifically for the service technicians today?
Yeah, I would say, it's one of the main challenges is probably getting to a location on time, like staying in the time frame which was accounted for you. Time frames have not, in general, increased over the past few years. Usually, everybody's trying to narrow you down to your on-site repair. At the same time, probably most service technicians know that you need to have a lot more documentation on hand, and you also need to create that documentation. Everybody wants to prove you've been there, take a few photos, do a follow-up, take down the findings, take down whatever counters you found, and probably also do the invoicing and billing part to the customer. So it's not easy, and probably that's all supposed to be done at the same time. That's at least what we are seeing in the expectations, and where we come in, usually it's when we either see someone who's like still very paper-based but wants to move up, or is maybe on the first step, has some kind of automation in there. But then really bringing it to the next level is oftentimes where it gets interesting and more exciting.
Yeah, very good. You mentioned the paper side of it and all that sort of thing, but digital transformation is a big ongoing issue right now. How is the digital transformation that you've seen enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of service technicians in the field?
Yeah, so we've seen a couple of things. So simply one of the things you can nowadays take photos with your phone and just have them uploaded instantly. That's a big pro. We've seen introduction of barcodes, of QR codes on machines. So whenever you're approaching a location, you can just go there and scan things, and scan a machine, scan a QR code, make sure that you're actually having the right material on hand. Well, that makes it all a lot easier to actually accomplish the task, document what is going on, feed it back into quality control on the other hand. And simply try to close the circle. One of the things which comes through that, though, is probably a lot more work. Sometimes you feel like you need an IT degree to do your job instead of that's maybe an engineering degree or just a good technical training, what you would usually have in the past. So that's certainly sometimes challenging and could even become an issue at time.
For sure. And you mentioned some of this, but I was going to ask you about the biggest challenges specifically faced by service technicians during their on-site repairs. What are the biggest challenges and how can these be addressed?
Yeah, so one of the challenges is really probably like really being there and get the time boxing right. If you not have just like one client but multiple. So we have maybe to put a bit in the context, we have quite a few clients who work with agriculture customers, and then if you're working agriculture, like you're kind of doing business all over the year, but like at one point you're going into a harvesting mode, and that's really when you have a huge time crunch as a customer. And then if you have machinery which is in the field and not working, that's could be a huge emergency, because for some of those grains you have like maybe a 24 to 48 hour time window in a season to get them harvested, or otherwise you're losing money instantly. So therefore, if something goes wrong at this time, you really want to have someone to come there as soon as possible and really be there on time. And that's kind of the thing where the service techs obviously get under huge pressure to get to every single client, be there on time. And obviously they start, you don't want them to, but they will start to try to cut corners wherever possible, and wherever that's not directly impacting the customer. But then, it could become an issue for them personally.
For sure. So you mentioned getting to the location on time, having all the information on hand, getting to the next place on time, all while capturing the repairs in the system. Where do you see this becoming an issue, and what kind of problems do you see arising from it when it isn't done properly?
Well, I would say the biggest issue on that is really that they start optimizing too much. So they run off. They haven't yet captured everything in the system. They're just gonna do it while driving to the next job, probably at a speed which is at least near the legal limit, because they just want to get there and optimize themselves as fast as possible. And then they're going to have their smartphone in one hand and start doing that. And that's something where we said, okay, that cannot really be the case, that's the reality. And we cannot build a tech solution which kind of increases that risk. So that's where we said, okay, we should come up with something to actually counteract this and help people. But not slow them down, but actually speed them up and make it safer for them to be there on the road. So what we did is we went ahead and everybody has seen it. There's been lots of recent advancements with AI. AI speech bots have been around for a while, but they've been getting better and better, and it's no longer needed to have like a certain speech pattern for that. So essentially what we came up with is something we call Emma in our organization. Emma is an AI voice assistant, and you can now call Emma, and you can call Emma at the touch of one button and simply tell Emma what you did on the customer side, what you've put in, what you changed for a customer, what you serviced, and then Emma is going to take that all down, and then Emma is going to talk through with you to the report, ask you certain questions, something you didn't put in. So she's going to ask you if you think there was something which broke in the field, something which should have been under warranty, ask you for your opinion on that, ask you for different points, ask you what items you used, and then what spare parts, better said. And then she's going to go through with that with you, making sure that she captured everything correctly. And you can actually then clear out the report completely on the phone. You don't need to use your, completely on the phone, but not with your phone in hand. You can simply do it through voice, which is, I believe, a huge advantage over the traditional way of doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate, I noticed the way you refer to Emma as she, very human with you. The AI, and that brings up the issue of AI. So looking kind of ahead into the future, how do you see the role of service technicians evolving over the next decade, especially with the advancements in AI and other technologies?
Yeah. Well, we're seeing a few things with AI. So AI is currently not yet so physical. So the actual work of going out to a machine and doing some things is still going to be around. But we see certain levels of improvement. One is really the kind of video AI analysis assisted guide. So if you have an issue with your machine, you can use kind of an AI mechanic who's on the phone to double check what's going on. If it's something you can just repair or put in a workaround yourself, and it's safe to do so, and then the AI can instruct you through that. That's something which we believe will come up probably quite soon. Thinking probably the next 2 to 3 years. And like a status that it's actually usable, and it's kind of the advanced. I would call that like an advanced repair manual. And yeah, the other thing which is probably going to come up, which is going to be a little more in the future, but it's foreseeable, are actually going to be some kind of robots and specialized robots being able to do certain repairs. You already have them in the factories, and I'm sure they, at least the first ones, are not going to look like humans instantly, but eventually it's going to be like a humanoid robot, I guess, who's going to walk out and do these things. Probably going to be like a universal rental model, so you can just scale up with whenever you need them the most, and then scale down afterwards. That's kind of my vision, what I'm looking at, and I don't think it's going to be instantaneous, but I can certainly see that probably happening over the next 10 to 20 years.
Well, I worked kind of as a service technician and in some other roles in manufacturing over the last previous decades. So I can definitely see the value of a lot of what you're talking about. I definitely appreciate that. And any big picture thoughts or last thoughts that you want to talk about as far as the future of manufacturing AI and what you offer?
Well, what our point is essentially what we do as a company. We're trying to offer like kind of the full picture consulting around that. So we are traditionally we're an IT system integrator. So we were always making sure that different software products were interacting correctly with each other, but properly integrated. I would say nowadays that has kind of shifted a bit to becoming more of a digitalization advisor in kind of a way, because you have today a pretty big zoo of technology you can use. You still need to integrate it, so we're still doing our core business, but like picking the correct technology and integrating it that then in a way that you can exchange it when there's been an advancement in the technology is probably one of the things we have the most. We do that by kind of looking at the offering of the whole system and kind of an industry wheel. That's how we call it. We have a specific industry wheel for manufacturing, which you can find on our homepage in the manufacturing section. So that's kind of how we approach it, to really capture the whole enterprise, not just the service tech, but also then the in-factory handling, the digital twin, which we embrace a lot, and also the accounting processes on the other side with ERP systems on the back end. So yeah, that's kind of how we do, and we call that enabling digital leaders, and that's what I've also been doing for the past decade and a half.
All right, very good, very good. I definitely appreciate all that information. If our listeners want to get some more information about what you do and about what you see as the future in the digital transformation, how would they do that?
Well, the easiest is to check out our website. You find us under www.arvadosystems.com. Then you can subscribe to our newsletter. We have a couple of newsletters we bring out I think it's monthly. And then you get the latest updates, a couple of stories, what we did with our various clients. And we hope that's going to inspire you.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you, Mr. Stuchte. We appreciate the information you've shared. And thank you to our audience for joining us today. And be sure to subscribe to our podcast feed to stay up to date on all things manufacturing. Thank you.